What's up, everyone? This is Carlos, aka Adam, back with my WWE Hell in a Cell review, results, reaction. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. And if you're listening to me on the audio, I'll be putting my stuff on there as well because I started trying to put this up on audio. Hope you enjoy it there. Throw me a like. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else, I think. I don't know yet. I'm still working out all the kinks on that. So this is actually a really good pay per view. Obviously they added two matches from when I had done my preview and predictions, a 24/7 match and then an impromptu retribution versus her business match. Those which didn't really count. So for the five matches that were like the main matches, all of them were pretty good. Not too much to complain there. They gave obviously a lot of time for them to breathe. Even if you felt like they went a little long, none of them were really, just slogging through. At least in my mind, I didn't feel like I had to slog through any of these. It sets up a lot of interesting storylines going forward. So we're just going to jump right into it. So we start off with the kickoff show. We got Jeff Jarrett on commentary for a little while, as I had mentioned during, I believe it was SmackDown when he was in the Thunderdome. So Elias comes by at one point, still doesn't believe that Jeff wasn't the one driving the car, even though everyone has already, I guess, proven it that he wasn't the one. But I don't know if this. I always thought this was more like Elias was just maybe. I thought it would have been a little smarter if he just got mad at Jeff and saying that he didn't. He was mad that he got pulled into Jeff's drama with Sheamus, and then blame him for that. I thought that would have been a little more interesting. So the one match we have on the kickoff, we have the 24/7 title, Truth versus Gulak. Gulak attacks Little Jimmy. That gets Truth, sets Truth off, so he starts attacking him. Gulak is focusing on his left leg. Truth is obviously, like he always says, his childhood hero. John Cena is using his moveset, does the five knuckle shuffle, hits his tornado elbow. Eventually, though, he hits a jackknife cover on Gulak for the win. Lucha House Party and Akira comes out, so Lucha House Party is now back to just being 24/7 title. And Akira come out, and the usual nonsense ensues where they're all chasing him around. Gulak says that John Cena sucks to the kickoff commentary team. Okay, I mean it's unfortunate for Gulak. He at one point was having these banger matches with AJ Styles, I believe, and Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan, and he was like in the hunt for the Intercontinental title, and now he's reduced to this. I know obviously once Daniel Bryan went away when the pandemic hit, that kind of hurt Gulak a lot because usually when a tag team like AOP or somebody, someone gets hurt, they keep them off or just don't really have anything for them. I get that, but you could have still had him in some of these matches and still just do something other than 24/7. But listen, he's getting paid. I'm not sure if this is what he wanted when he, re-signed at the last second, because there was thought that he would come to AEW or somewhere else. So then we also get Mustafa Ali promo with Retribution. Obviously has unfinished business with the Hurt Business, calling them, they're all about profits and all this stuff. And then challenges him, makes an interesting challenge where he says one of Hurt Business will face one of Retribution. They can pick but Hurt Business gets to pick for both sides, which I thought was kind of stupid, but so we'll see how that goes later on. So when we get to the main show, the first match, which obviously a lot of people thought might even end the main event, this was the Hell in a Cell I Quit match, Roman versus Jay. I mean, there's just so much here, so I'm just going to just dive in. So I like the aesthetic of Jay with the all white and Roman with the nice gauntlet. It was pretty cool. So we get dives by Jay, sends Roman to the cage. He hits another dive. Roman with the spear. He's taking his time getting chairs. Catches a drop kick into the cage, though. Hits another spear. Roman saying he doesn't want to go further, but he's going to end him because he has no choice. Jay counters the spear, hits a super kick, then the splash. Jay hits another splash, almost lands on Roman's head. He goes outside, grabs a leather strap, brings it into the ring. Roman hits another spear while he's getting whipped as he kind of like hulks up from it. Roman has the strap now. It's a slugfest in the middle of the ring. Jay starts choking out Roman with the strap. Roman almost plays possum at first and then gets up, but then he gets choked out again. And obviously you have to say I quit. In a normal Hell in a Cell match, you would have to, just incapacitate your opponent, pin, submission, whatever. and you can win. But because this is an I quit match, you have to almost like wake him up to make him say I quit. So Jay with the chair, he catches a Superman punch, and then Roman hits the guillotine on him. Jay won't quit though. The ref almost seemed a little biased. He's like, "Come on, man! That's all you have to do is say it. Yeah, all you have to do is say it." Almost as if he wants Jay. I mean, I guess in a way, maybe like he's looking out for Jay, but it just seemed like he wasn't doing that for Roman when Roman was getting choked out with the strap. So, Paul Heyman looks stunned on the outside, which is funny. We get the drive-by drop kick by Roman. He then takes the stairs, puts the stairs on the apron, so it's kind of between. Jay's head is between the stairs and the post. He does another drive-by, kicks it into his head. The ref wants to call it because Jay is apparently out. Roman's like, no, you're not calling this. Throws the ref over the top rope. So, all the refs, Pierce, Buck, Jamie Noble, they all come in the ring, try to break it up. Roman closes it. He's about to leave, and he's like, no. He closes the door and then throws the stairs into the ring. Almost has to do it twice because he misses it the first time. That was dangerous because it could have came back on top of him. So then he gets the stairs. He's hovering over Jay. Looks like he's going to crush Jay's head. Jimmy comes in to stop Roman from crushing him. He's saying, what are you doing? This is Josh. Whatever you're going through, we can get this together. And then Roman starts turning on the waterworks. He's getting ready for that next Fast and Furious movie, the Hobbs and Shaw sequel that he's going to be in, probably. I don't know. But the tears look legitimate. I mean, they weren't no crocodile tears. They look good. So it looks like, he's able to kind of hug it out with Jimmy for a second, and then obviously just immediately turns, puts the guillotine on Jimmy. And as Jimmy is in the guillotine, he's kind of grabbing for Jay, trying to get Jay's attention, trying to wake him up. And Jay finally starts to come to, realizes Jimmy's in the guillotine, but he's just so out of it that he can't really do anything. So he finally quits to save his brother. Roman lets go, grabs the title, starts to go up the ramp. Jay looks absolutely devastated. He looks crushed. He's crying. And then at the top of the ramp, we get Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans. Roman's father and his uncle are up there. They present him with the red lei. He embraces them both, and he hoists the title above. Clearly, they're okay with the way he's been doing what he's doing, and running the family, I guess. And he has no problem that the Usos are kind of just going to be now bend the knee, be subservient to Roman. That's interesting to see what they go from there. Will they just become full heels? Will they be like reluctant, kind of like Cena in the Nexus, or so many other storylines that have veered in that direction? Or will they maybe try to get in there and try to slowly turn Roman back to the good side? But either way, fantastic match, great ending, really emotional. It was a little similar to the Clash of Champions match, just the reverse of Jimmy saving Jay as opposed to Jay saving Jimmy. But and you almost didn't need the cage for this one. Obviously, it enhanced it a little bit, with some of the things, but they could have just had an I Quit match and it still would have been hot. So really good match. So as I always do, as I said, I do my in my preview predictions, I give my shoot, my kayfabe, and my confidence points. So for shoot, I knew Roman was going to win, so I chose Roman. In the back of my mind, I would have loved to see Jay win, so he was my kayfabe pick. Obviously got that wrong, but I had 5 points of confidence on this one because there was just no way that Roman was losing this to Jay. I just knew it. Next, we get Elias versus Jeff Hardy. Hardy misses the launch off the steps into the barricade, just beats the count. We get the electric chair, spinning powerbomb by Elias for a 2 count. Whisper in the Wind for a 2 count. I can't say this enough how much I hate Whisper in the Wind. I feel like it doesn't connect, and all it does is just have Jeff Hardy just land hard on his back every time. Very rare. I think I've seen one really good Whisper in the Wind the last 6 months. It's ridiculous. So then what ends up happening is they're fighting to the outside. Elias goes for his guitar. Jeff is able to get it and then hits Elias in the back for the DQ loss. He said he didn't give a shit. He was just wanting to hurt Elias. So he beats the shit out of Elias with it, destroys the guitar. So there, obviously this is not over between them. This just sets up, more and more matches. Jeff and his, constant feuds. These long-winded feuds he's going to get into. Now it's going to be Elias for the next 3 months. Eventually he'll win the feud because that's what he does. So in here, shoot, yes, I had Elias because I knew Elias was going to win. Even though I don't know, for some reason I wanted Hardy to win in my kayfabe pick, but I don't know why. Um, just because I'm not the biggest fan of Elias. I think he has potential, but I just feel like that they always bobble it, so it's almost like I don't even want to waste my time getting into it because I know they're going to bobble it. So I had 3 points of confidence on that one. We then get Money in the Bank case contract match of Otis versus The Miz. So Otis is backstage, says he's pumped up, he's angry, for his interview. So we get new music for Otis, which is pretty good. The blue collar man, and then like some kind of rock thing. Otis is in control most of it. Morris is a distraction, so Miz can get a kick in the leg and then a DDT for a 2 count. Obviously, Miz starts hitting him in the gut, and we all know what happens there. Otis starts to hulk up, hits a flapjack, and then Morrison pulls Miz out to avoid the caterpillar. Morrison is thrown out because he's caught by the ref trying to hit Otis with the case. Eventually, so then the case is on the outside. Tucker grabs the case, and at one point, he actually hits Otis flush, though. That was fucking killed him with it. Hits Otis, knocks him out with the case. Miz is stunned, almost as if he didn't know, like he didn't have this plan the whole time. He just, was trying to do his best just to win the match. Absolutely stunned. He pins Otis for the win. He is the new Money in the Bank contract holder, his second, even though he didn't win the match this time. So we then go backstage. They're celebrating. Said he did what is necessary. He's now putting the both. Oh, that's my heater. Sorry, the heater in the apartment is going off. It makes sounds like that. I apologize. So he said he puts the Universal Champion, the WWE Championship, on notice. Even though I thought he's only supposed to be able to cash in on his brand's champion, but I don't even know. They make up the rules as they go here. So then Tucker comes back, and Kayla asks him why he did it. He says he did everything for him. He was always thought as an afterthought. Oh, hey, don't forget to tag in Otis so he can do the caterpillar. Oh, don't worry, make sure Otis can do this and that. And just like always, he's the one who gave Otis the confidence to ask out Mandy, to help him through everything. He couldn't even tie his shoes without me, and now he doesn't even care. Otis comes back, just basically shoves Miz and Morrison to the side, him and Tucky start fighting. Everyone gets the run. Everyone runs off. Otis is by himself. So obviously this is interesting because of the fact, well, not interesting, kind of annoying, because Tucker is on Raw with Miz and Morrison. Otis is still on SmackDown. Either they need to move Otis to Raw or Tucky back to SmackDown, or just stop that you have a brand split. Because this is just, what are you going to waste your invitational on these two? This makes no sense. Next was probably just absolute banger. SmackDown title, Hell in a Cell match, Sasha versus Bayley. There's just so much here. I'm just going to run through it because it was awesome. I thought this was interesting that it wasn't main eventing, but, obviously, considering the other match, I still thought this one was better. Sasha sends Bayley's chair out of the cage before it comes down, even though there's a plethora of chairs and other weapons that we'll see. Sasha hits a bank statement early. Bayley bites the hand to break free. Sasha avoids a kendo stick and sends it through the cage toward the commentary desk. Almost hits Cole, which I thought was funny. Sasha uses a chair to send Bayley into the cage. Sasha runs... So then there's this table that Sasha set up that she was going to obviously try to put Bayley through, and only one of the legs are up, so that it's kind of set up as a ramp. And what Sasha was doing was using it to shove Bayley into the cage, so she was kind of pinned up against the cage with the table. And then Sasha runs up the ramp of the table and hits a Meteora against the cage, which I thought was really cool. Back in the ring, she hits a top rope Meteora, only gets a 2 count. Sasha hits the double knees, sends Bayley into the steps. Kendo stick set up between the steps and the cage, and Sasha gets drop toe hold onto them. That looked rough. Shattered the kendo sticks. More gets set up. Then Sasha gets slingshot into more kendo sticks that were set up there. Sasha hits a sunset flip bomb off the apron that sends Bayley into the cage. Puts her back in the ring for a 2 count. That was rough. I love when Sasha does the sunset flip bomb. Kind of like the float over bomb almost. Actually, not the sunset flip. The sunset flip This is kind of what her and Johnny Gargano both do. They kind of do a flip over, land on their legs, and with their momentum pull them through for the bomb. Uh, and then we get the actual sunset flip bomb by Bayley, which sends Sasha back of her head into a chair that's wedged in the corner. That looked rough as well. Bayley hits an elbow drop for a 2 count. We get the backstabber into the bank statement by Sasha. Bayley slides out and gets Sasha in the apron. Bayley hits her with the kendo sticks, and as she hangs over. And at one point, Bayley grabs 2 kendo sticks and is trying to duct tape them. I don't know if they thought this was going to work or whatever, but it was trying to duct tape them and then put them across, but it just obviously wasn't working. And she even like asked the ref for help, and you hear the ref be like, I can't do that for you. It's pretty funny. So obviously all that time was taken. That gave Sasha an opportunity to get back to her feet. Bayley goes after her. Sasha hits her with the fire extinguisher in the face. Sasha's in complete control. Kendo stick shots. Hits the frog splash, but Bayley grabs a chair and puts it on top of her, so they both take a kind of the pain on that one. Bayley hits a rose plant on the outside. Sasha sold it really, really well. We get back in for a 2 count. Bayley brings in a ladder, sets up between 2 chairs, and then flapjacks Sasha onto it, and then puts Sasha on it, spray paints like an X on her, but she misses it. Sasha with the springboard Meteora, and then Bayley hits a Bayley to belly. And then Sasha hits the Bayley belly on the ladder, but only gets a 2 count. Bayley hits a belly to belly of her own, only in 2 count. And then Sasha eventually gets the bank statement with Bayley's head in the chair, and is stopping the chair as it's kind of around her neck. It was vicious. It was rough. Bayley had no choice but to tap out. So there you have it. We have a new SmackDown Women's Champion in an absolutely fantastic barn burner banger match between these two, which obviously won't be the end of them. Sasha is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. I, unfortunately, had Bayley for both because I figured that this was going to keep going, and I figured they wanted to keep it on Bayley and have Sasha win maybe in front of a crowd when they were finally able to get that and stretch this out a little bit. It's interesting to think of like who would be a next challenger for Bayley going forward because, looking at the roster, you have obviously Bianca Belair, who's going to be the future champion. We all know this, but it's almost like you don't want her in there too early because you want to keep Sasha strong and you don't want to have Bianca lose. So, who's going to be next there? I mean, could it be Carmella? I don't know. I mean, Carmella, literally the only time she's been seen was when she was on the ramp during the season premiere or something like that. Obviously with Bayley, I mean, if you want to just keep her and Bayley going at it, you just don't want it to get stale. So it does present some interesting issues, not necessarily issues, but questions, of how they're going to go from here. But I'm sorry about the hissing in the background, my heat, now that it's getting a little chillier out. And I can't shut it off because it's, for the building itself. This was an absolute fantastic match. We then get our not our main event. So we get Hurt Business backstage. Lashley's in his ring gear, so obviously Charlie assumes that he's going to be the one competing. MVP says he's the CEO. He is, like the leaders of old. He leads us into battle. We don't just follow his orders. And then they're trying to figure out who they should do, who they should pick from Retribution. And then Shelton goes, the one with the lame mask, and then MVP and Cedric do the lean back like, huh? It's pretty funny. So they end up choosing Slapjack, Shane Thorne. MVP says no one will. Says let's up these stakes. How about it's just your guy versus our guy, nobody else, no cornermen, and not only that, but Lashley will put up the U.S. title. So Lashley says, you know what, I'm gonna be in that ring. I don't care. So he goes out there. Obviously, it is Slapjack. Slapjack getting a lot more offense than I thought. He looks really good, except for the stupid mask because he's spending so much time playing with it. But eventually, Lashley hits the Hurt Lock for the win. Retribution is in immediately for the attack. Hurt Business comes down. Ali is about to attack Lashley, then sees the rest of the Hurt Business, drops down, gets the hell out of Dodge. Once again, this makes, Retribution look so stupid because, one, they lost the match. Two, Lashley was kind of handling them without all of them, or without her business even there, which means not only Lashley can take them, The Fiend can take them. They can't win a match. Besides Ali's good promos, which are going to lose their teeth if they don't get any wins, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about Retribution? Once again, everyone's saying, oh, the people that are like, oh, they're not buried yet, they're not buried yet. Well, I don't know what else to call them because I don't give a shit about them anymore. I mean, I didn't really give a shit about them to begin with, but I thought, even with the addition of Ali, okay, I was hoping that they lose the mask and maybe get their real names, or well, their shoot wrestling names back. And also, what about Mercedes Martinez? I mean, I personally don't know if she's been sick or if something happened, but it's just me AM. She was left off the graphics early on. She's no longer a part of it. So, I don't know. Now we get our main event, Hell in a Cell. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton for the WWE title. Let's see here. So, yes. So, once again, another barn burner. Randy Orton tries to attack him by dressing up as a production guy, but it fails miserably. They fight on the outside for a while. Match finally starts. Drew is in control, sending Randy into the cage over and over. Drew launches stairs into the cage, but Randy evades that because that would have probably killed him. Randy evades a claymore, uses a chair on Drew, and then pushes it into his jaw because, obviously he had that issue with the jaw a couple months ago, or about a month ago. Randy stomps Drew's hand on the stairs, rams his face into the cage. Randy is suplexed into a table he set up, hoisted on his own petard. Eventually, he gets a draping DDT for a 2 count, and then Randy produces a pair of bolt cutters from under the ring, cuts the chain, and starts to leave. Drew gets him on the ramp. They start fighting for a little while. Randy gets the advantage. He climbs on top of the cage and taunts Drew. Drew obviously didn't look like he really wanted to do this, but he was like, you know what, screw it, let's do it. So he finally climbs up to the top of the cage. And then Randy produces what can only be described as a Sith lightsaber. It's like a giant red pole. I don't know why he needed a red pole, maybe for the aesthetics of the red cage. I'm not sure. So he's using that on Drew. Hits him with the pipe. They start to climb down together. Drew follows him. They're fighting, on the side of the cage, holding one another. And then this was actually what I saw between, I believe it was Seth and Dolph. But this looked a little more realistic. I don't know. Was it Seth and Dolph? Was it Shane? I forget who it was, but it just looked. I think it was Dolph who went through the table from the top of the cage. But it just looked so like, he was like, okay, I'm gonna drop, and he just dropped. This one looked a little better because Randy was like punching him in the back, then punching his hands, trying to get him to lose his grip. Drew falls, goes right through commentary. He's coughing up blood. He's in a bad shape. Randy is like stalking him as Drew drags himself back into the cage. Eventually he's able to muster up enough to get a claymore on Randy, but Randy rolls out of the ring. And then Randy back in the ring. Drew is, kind of waiting, setting up, measuring him up for it. Finally goes for the claymore. Randy ducks, hits the RKO for the win. Your new WWE champion, Randy Orton. I believe this is number 14 of his illustrious career. This whole time, people were worried about Miz possibly cashing in. If you know your history, about 10 years ago, this November, Miz actually cashed in his Money in the Bank win against Randy Orton to become the WWE champion. So, could history repeat itself? I think he needs to, because for all that they did to get him the Money in the Bank case, for him to just lose the match, I find really annoying. But at the same time, we're going to have to build Miz up, because he's just been a bumbling fool and just getting his ass kicked by Otis for weeks now, and then by Lars Sullivan, and everybody's just been kicking his ass. And I feel like Miz still has a lot left in the tank. I think he still can put on good matches. I feel like they just don't want him to. They just want him to be Mr. kind of Hollywood, kind of, just wherever they need him, utility guy. But I feel like he really can put on some good matches. Him and Morrison together, ever since they lost the tag titles, have just been idiots. So I feel like, I'm glad he didn't cash in here. I wanted Randy to get his moment. As I predicted, Randy, but I only had 1 point of confidence on it. Both shooting kayfabe. I had a feeling Randy was finally going to win this. I don't think Drew loses anything in this. Obviously, the way they've structured the draft, there are a lot of potential opportunities here. Obviously, Miz with the Money in the Bank. You have The Fiend. You have Sheamus. You have AJ Styles. You have Drew still. You got Braun Strowman. You got Keith Lee. You have a lot to mine from. So I'm praying that WWE does the right thing. So there you have it. Hell in a Cell is in the books. My review, my results, my reactions. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there for video listeners, video watchers, audio listeners. You can check me out on Apple, Spotify, and anything else that comes up. So as always, don't. The hissing in the background is definitely messing with my head today. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, social media is down there, blah, blah, blah. As always, be safe, love each other, and bye now.